To many, Gachagua's impeachment motion seemed to be the only thing that was going to bring his political career to its final ultimate conclusion. But guess what? The same impeachment motion has finally turned into a blessing in disguise. Listen, we must admit the cognizant fact that President William Samoei Ruto completely underestimated his then deputy Rigathi Gachagua. And as of the look of things, right after that impeachment motion, the former deputy president has turned out to be more lethal and influential than he was during his term in office. And as I've been stating it categorically since way back, that an idle Rigathi was going to be very detrimental to President William Samoei Ruto's re-election. And from the look of things, I can tell you without any fear of equivocation that Rigathi is not only going to be a stumbling block to President William Samoei Ruto's governance, but also he is going to be very detrimental to the president's re-election. But again, having studied the crinkum-crankum of President William Samoei Ruto's political strategies, I can categorically confirm that President William Samoei Ruto, being a political mastercard poet, being a schemer, being a self-proclaimed political genius, he is currently technically trying to force a leader to the Gen Z movement so that he can win a re-election. And I'm saying this because one thing that I'm sure of is that President William Samoei Ruto knows pretty well that if he is going to go to the next ballot without him choosing his opponent, then I kid you not, he knows pretty well that he is going to fail. And that is why he prefers to choose a battle of which it is going to be very much easier for him to counter than him going to counter the millions of the Gen Z Republic, of which we were leaderless, with a vision, but partyless, and with the form. That is why he is fighting by hook or crook in picking a war against the former deputy president, with his sinister motive that the Gen Zs are going to be sidelined, because President William Samoei Ruto's only threat in the next general election is nothing short apart from the Gen Z Republic. So by President William Samoei Ruto working by hook or crook in fighting the former deputy president, from where he sits, Ruto is technically redirecting the focus from matters governance to inculcating the tribal card. And as I've been stating it times above numbers, that our politics being extensively tribal, that is what has been failing Kenyans since independence, simply because if Kenyans are going to fall for his tribal card, that is to mean that even his biggest critics, being the Gen Zs, if at all they are going to pull strings based on their ethnic balkanization, then I kid you not, some are going to rally behind him despite proving times above numbers being incompetent, while some of the Gen Zs too are also likely to support Rigathi Gachagua based on the tribal string, while others are likely to support the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and by so doing, his divide and rule tactic and his tribal card shall have successfully and strategically inculcated into the people's minds. How I wish that Kenya shouldn't fall into President William Samoei Ruto's theatrics just because he is currently fighting Rigathi Gachagua, so that we may bring on board the tribal card and forget about matters good governance. By President William Samoei Ruto currently scheming to arrest Rigathi Gachagua, I kid you not, he is also technically forcing a Ruto versus Raila contest, thus eliminating his biggest critics, being the Gen Z, from the political equation. And by him attacking Rigathi, he is ostensibly choosing who his opponent is, thus making it very much easier for him to beat Rigathi in the next election based on the tribal card. Remember, the Gen Z Republic were completely leaderless and tribeless. But by him choosing a fight against Rigathi Gachagua, that is to mean that he has technically also schemed and inculcated the tribal card into his political equation, thus making it very much easier and have a scapegoat to campaign that the Wamunyoro kingpin was tribal, and thus it was very much easier for him to beat him at the ballot. How I wish that millions of Kenyans should not fall for President William Samoei Ruto's theatrics. Failure to that, I kid you not, beating President William Samoei Ruto based on his theatrics in the next general election may be as hard as finding a plastic sufuria. But from where I sit, that has just been my opinion. If by any chance you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well. Just feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. And by any chance, if you have been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, you can as well. Just consider hitting on the subscribe button. Thank you and may God bless you.